Hey everybody, my name's Mark. I've been here at Whistler Blackcomb for the last 5 years. I work in the lift ops department, but what I'm really here to do is to make guests enjoy themselves. And that's something that you can do in the job no matter what you do. All right, right now I'm going to tell you a situation where we have what's known as the Shakespearean gondola loading. It's a way to take a near impossible situation and turn it to a positive situation for everybody involved. What we'll have quite often, or maybe not so often, but at least once a day on a busy Saturday, is we'll have a couple, maybe a single, maybe somebody who's been waiting in line for a period of time, and they feel that because they've waited in line that long, they want their own cabin. They assume that as the line is moving, the reason why it's not moving maybe as quickly as they assumed is because people are getting in 1, 2 at a time. However, by the time they get to the front, they do realize that we're trying to get as many people in the gondolas as possible so we can get people up the hill for a fabulous experience quicker rather than later. Sometimes we will have this person will come up and say, "Oh, I wanted my own gondola." We want to embrace this. We understand that they've been in line. They don't exactly know what's happening at the front of the line. So we can say, "Excuse me, you know what? We will do our absolute best. If you just stand here, as soon as I have the opportunity to put you in your own, I will." In the meantime, we'll continue to put 10 people in each gondola. After a while, the person will be like, "Well, where's my gondola?" Say, "Look, I'm really sorry. We will get you one, but at first I have to get rid of all these other people who are still trying to get in as well." Eventually they will see the fact that it's much easier to get in with other people and we can get them on their way, as opposed to waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So what we are trying to do is give this person exactly what they want while still providing everybody else with the service that we say we will provide. All right, one last story before I go. Sometime last winter, I was working up the top of 7th Heaven. Beautiful place to be. I had a gentleman approach me and say, "Excuse me, I'm trying to find the glacier. Can you help me out?" I knew where the glacier was, but unfortunately at that point of the day, patrol hadn't opened it yet because they still had to do avalanche clearance. I explained to the guy, I said, "Look, I'm really sorry. It's not open yet. It might be open a little later, but patrol is doing their avalanche clearance, and really, it's really up to them until we can open it." He seemed a little ticked off. He was like, "Well, I've come a long way. I really do want to ride that glacier." I said, "You know what? I'll give you a tip." I pointed him to a beautiful set of trees, which a lot of the locals know, but not many of the tourists know. I said, "If you go this way, take this route, try that, come back a little later, maybe the glacier will be open." Gentleman took my advice, took off, came back about 20 minutes, 30 minutes later with a giant grin on his face saying, "I took your advice. The trees were amazing." By this point, they'd also opened the glacier. I said, "Sir, I'm so glad you enjoyed it, but guess what? You're in luck. The glacier, they just cracked it 2 minutes ago. On your bike, let's see if you can get some fresh tracks there." Sometimes you're going to have a guest come at you like a freight train, but you can't just say no. You can turn that no into a tango. So rather than say, "Hey, you can't do that," I can say, "Hey, there's a tree run over here. It's for locals, so don't tell anybody." Or I can say, "You know what? If you just pop in there, you might be able to have a nice beer or hot chocolate, and it'll open soon." But rather than take it and say no, 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 and get run over, I'll turn it into a tango.